What if the silence of one seemingly ordinary night concealed a secret so explosive that it would shatter the very foundation of trust? In a world where everyday moments hide unexpected darkness, the tragedy that unfolded over 5 decades ago begins with a single, unassuming call. A 911 message reported that a toddler had stopped breathing while eating pizza. A statement delivered with a cold, detached tone that belied the horror it would soon reveal. As emergency responders raced to the scene, they encountered a sight that defied the explanation. A small child, her body marred by unexplained bruises, lying lifeless on the cold pavement, while a figure held her with a disturbing calm. This chilling moment, frozen in time, became the seed from which a labyrinth of secrets and unanswered questions grew. The official record had long declared it a tragic accident, a misfortune swept away by the relentless march of time. Yet, hidden in the silence were hints of deliberate neglect, whispers of a truth that would eventually resurface with explosive force. Will you dare to look beyond the surface, to question a narrative that has been trusted for decades, and uncover the darkness that lurks beneath the seemingly ordinary?
Welcome to Crime Bite.
In this channel, we peel back the layers of those hidden realities, raw evidence, conflicting testimonies, and emotional pleas for help that too often come too late. By looking into these crime bites, you'll see firsthand how broken trust, systemic oversights, and chilling motives can converge into stories that rattle us to the core. If you find this exploration as vital as we do, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notifications button. Together, we can shine a light on the cases that demand attention, ensuring every voice, especially the silenced, finds the audience it deserves. In the heart of 2025 Las Vegas, where neon lights flicker like secret signals and the desert night hums with energy, a single 911 call shattered the illusion of safety. It was a humid evening when an unusually calm voice reported that a toddler had stopped breathing while eating pizza. Emergency dispatchers, accustomed to the rush of city life, registered the call without fanfare. Yet, as the sirens cut through the desert silence and paramedics raced to a modest apartment complex on the outskirts of the city, an unsettling chill crept over the scene. Upon arrival, first responders were met with an eerie tableau: a young child lying motionless on a cold concrete walkway, her small body marred by unexplained bruises. Standing nearby was a babysitter whose expression was disturbingly blank, as if detached from the horror unfolding before her eyes. The chaotic glow of flashing lights, the relentless beep of medical equipment, and the murmurs of the responding crew hinted at something far more sinister than a simple accident. In that moment, the seeds of a mystery were sown, a mystery that would unravel the facade of trust and reveal a betrayal so deep it would haunt the city for years. Do you wonder how one fateful call could open the door to secrets that have lain dormant for so long? Journei Ross was a child whose bright eyes and contagious laughter had once filled her world with promise. Family photos depicted her as an emblem of innocence, a toddler fascinated by the glimmer of slot machines and the vibrant colors of Las Vegas billboards. Yet, on that tragic night, her laughter was abruptly silenced. The bruises that marked her delicate skin were inexplicable. They told a story of repeated harm that no child should endure. The official narrative at the time quickly labeled her death as an accident, a fall from her crib during what was presumed to be a simple moment of mishap. But those who had known her, even briefly, sensed something was horribly amiss. The quiet acceptance of the tragedy by the authorities masked whispers among family and friends who noticed subtle signs that didn't add up. The image of a joyful child reduced to a lifeless body, cold and still, became a painful symbol of lost innocence and unmet protection. As the community grappled with grief, doubts lingered beneath the surface. Was it really a simple accident, or had something more deliberate been at work? Can you imagine how devastating it must feel when the very innocence of childhood is stolen in a heartbeat? In the years following the tragedy, the official story remained unchallenged, a case closed under the guise of an accident. However, those who had quietly observed the events began to notice discrepancies. Subtle inconsistencies in witness testimonies, vague explanations from the babysitter, and a lack of visible struggle all pointed to a narrative that didn't quite fit. Behind the sanitized police report lay a deeper, more chilling truth. The babysitter, once trusted to care for Journei, now emerged as a figure shrouded in ambiguity. Her demeanor during that fateful night was unnervingly calm, almost rehearsed, as if she had long practiced concealing her true nature. Family members recalled offhand remarks and fleeting glances that hinted at secrets too dangerous to speak openly. The babysitter's apparent detachment and the cold, clinical manner in which the tragedy was later described fueled a growing suspicion. A silent murmur that perhaps the truth had been buried under layers of convenient lies. As these whispers grew louder over the years, one can't help but ask, could the calm facade of a trusted caregiver have concealed a betrayal so deep that it would remain hidden for decades? Decades later, modern forensic technology and a renewed determination to re-examine cold cases breathed new life into the investigation. What had been considered an unavoidable accident was reinterpreted through the lens of state-of-the-art analysis. Investigators revisited old case files, reanalyzing autopsy reports and archived photographs with digital precision that uncovered details previously dismissed or overlooked. The bruises on Journei's fragile body, once thought to be mere accidents, began to align with a pattern of deliberate harm. New tests revealed anomalies in the tissue samples and chemical markers that suggested intentional abuse. As forensic experts worked meticulously to overlay modern evidence onto decades-old records, the once accepted narrative of a tragic fall began to crumble under the weight of undeniable scientific facts. The meticulous re-examination ignited a firestorm of renewed interest in the case, setting off alarms in legal and social circles alike. It was clear that justice, long delayed, was finally catching up with the secrets of the past. Have you ever wondered how modern science can reopen the doors to a mystery that decades of silence had locked away? In a twist that stunned legal experts and sent shockwaves through the community, the mother was arrested, 55 years after the toddler's death. The long-dormant case, once thought to be an irreparable accident, was now being rewritten with evidence that pointed to something far more sinister. The arrest marked the climax of an investigation that had rekindled hope among those who had long suspected foul play. The news spread like wildfire. A mother, once believed to have borne an unchangeable sorrow, was now facing charges in connection with the loss of her child. The arrest was a dramatic, almost cinematic moment, a culmination of years of re-examined evidence, persistent inquiry, and the relentless drive for truth. It symbolized the breaking of a long-held silence, forcing a community to reckon with the past and demand accountability. The mother's arrest shattered the accepted narrative and compelled everyone to ask the difficult question: is it ever truly too late for justice to come knocking, even after half a century of silence? The mother's arrest reverberated far beyond the courthouse walls, igniting a profound shift in the community's collective consciousness. What had once been dismissed as a tragic accident was now the catalyst for widespread introspection about the systems meant to protect the vulnerable. Long-held trust in the authorities was shaken as families and neighbors began questioning the safeguards that had failed to prevent the loss of a precious life. Local advocacy groups and child protection agencies mobilized quickly, demanding reforms and increased vigilance. Community meetings were held, where residents shared personal stories of suspicion and regret and debated whether more could have been done. The case became a rallying cry, a stark reminder that every overlooked warning sign could hide a potential disaster, urging everyone to be more vigilant. In the wake of the arrest, the public discourse shifted toward accountability and systemic reform. People began to ask themselves hard questions about how many other tragedies might have been buried beneath the weight of assumed fate. Isn't it time we re-examine our collective responsibility to protect those who cannot protect themselves? Inside the courtroom, the tension was palpable as legal teams clashed over the interpretation of the newly uncovered evidence. Prosecutors presented detailed forensic analyses, enhanced images of the bruises, reinterpreted autopsy reports, and reconstructed timelines that painted a picture far more sinister than the original accident narrative. Every piece of evidence was meticulously laid out, challenging decades of accepted history. The defense, clinging to the old explanations, argued that the events had been nothing more than a tragic mishap. Yet, the weight of modern forensic breakthroughs was overwhelming. Witness testimonies, previously dismissed as unreliable, were re-interviewed and now cast a glaring light on inconsistencies that could no longer be ignored. The courtroom buzzed with the energy of revelations, each new detail pushing the envelope of truth further into the light. Every argument, every technical detail contributed to a crescendo of undeniable proof. The legal battle was not just about one tragic incident. It was a war against the inertia of time and the collective failure to act. When modern science meets cold, hard evidence, can the scales of justice ever remain balanced? After months of intense deliberation, the jury finally rendered its verdict. The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as the words echoed through the space. Guilty. The mother, whose silence had once been accepted as sorrow, now faced a reality that spanned more than half a century of unanswered questions and deep-seated injustice. The verdict was a monumental moment, a long overdue acknowledgement that the tragedy had been far from an accident. The weight of the decision was felt by all. Families who had been haunted by the mystery, advocates who had pushed tirelessly for the truth, and even by those who had doubted that such a case could be reopened after so many years. The verdict not only brought legal accountability, but also forced the community to face the painful truth of a past that had been allowed to fester in silence. The finality of the verdict, while providing a measure of closure, also opened up deeper questions about the cost of delayed justice and the wounds that time can never heal. Does a single verdict have the power to mend a broken past, or does it simply leave us with scars that will forever remind us of what was lost? In the wake of the courtroom's decision, the ripples of this case spread far and wide, sparking a nationwide debate about the failures of child protection and investigative systems. Families across the country began to question how such a tragic event could have been misclassified for over 5 decades. The arrest and subsequent legal proceedings forced institutions to confront the gaps in their processes, highlighting the need for robust forensic methodologies and more vigilant oversight of vulnerable cases. Community leaders, legislators, and advocacy groups mobilized quickly, demanding changes that would prevent future tragedies. Public forums were organized, and media outlets revisited the case with renewed scrutiny, ensuring that every overlooked detail was brought to light. The message was clear. If one case could remain hidden for 55 years, how many more children might still be suffering in silence? This outcry has not only led to calls for reform, but has also sparked innovative discussions on how to leverage modern technology to revisit cold cases. As systems begin to adapt and evolve, the hope is that no other case will be left in the shadows waiting for decades to be corrected. Will our collective response finally ensure that every cry for help is answered, or will the scars of the past continue to haunt us? As the saga of this long-forgotten tragedy draws to a close, its lasting impact remains a potent reminder of the urgent need for vigilance and systemic change. The story of this lost toddler, a life taken in a moment of betrayal and hidden by decades of silence, serves as a clarion call for all of us. It teaches us that every small warning, every unexplained bruise, and every whispered concern matters profoundly. The case has sparked not only legal reform but also a renewed determination among communities to protect their most vulnerable members. In the final analysis, the relentless pursuit of truth in this case offers hope that no child's suffering will ever be ignored again. It is a reminder that justice, though sometimes delayed, can be a powerful force for change, if only we have the courage to act when the signs are there. This tragedy has become a catalyst for innovation in forensic science, an inspiration for reform in child protection policies, and a heart-wrenching testament to the enduring impact of lost innocence. Before you close this chapter, please join us in the fight to ensure that no other life is lost to silence and inaction. Your engagement is crucial. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notifications button so you stay updated on our latest investigations and critical calls for change. Every voice, every share, and every subscription is a step toward a future where justice is never delayed. As we reflect on this harrowing tale, ask yourself, will you be the one to speak up and make sure that no other child's silent suffering is ignored, ensuring that the legacy of a forgotten tragedy transforms into a beacon of hope and accountability for all.